Got you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tap In with Tristan. Thank you guys for joining us again. We got a lovely show right here. This is going to be big time. I'm excited about this guest right here, man, sharing the platform with me. Before we even go any further, I just want to make sure that you guys share this content and hit that subscribe button. This is going to be a dope platform, and I want you guys to feel free to comment, like, and definitely share and subscribe to this, man, because we're trying to build something beautiful here. I don't want to hold you too much longer, man. We're going to get right into this. I'm real blessed to have this gentleman take his time out of his busy schedule. We got Mr. Kyle Cuffe. Talk to him, Kyle.
What's up, man? Man, nice to connect with you, my brother, man. Been a long time, man, but I've been watching you. I've been Instagram stalking a little bit, so I know what you've been doing, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud that you got a beautiful family, man, and I'm definitely looking forward to reconnecting again and building something that maybe somebody that's watching this it'll inspire them a little bit. So this is a good thing that you're trying to do on your platform, and definitely if we could connect platforms, it'll be a bigger thing for for future individuals coming up. So definitely this is a good thing, bro. Appreciate you.
Nah, man, much love, man. I appreciate you, man. You got a lot of things going. You got a beautiful family of your own, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So we may jump around a little bit, man. We might go in chronological order. It just depends on the vibe, man. But again, man, I appreciate your time.
Hmm.
Let's start back to young Kyle Cuff, man. What does that look like, man? Where we at? What's the family dynamic, and what's going on in your world?
Well, man, young Kyle Cuff, man. Well, young Kyle Cuff grew up in the Bronx. You
Okay.
know, North. I would say North Bronx. Of Jamaican parentage. My mother and father came from Jamaica. You know, so I'm first generation here that was able to actually, graduate from college. Um, played high school ball. Played on some of the most well-renowned teams in AAU history, as well as in high school history, going to Rice High School. Then also, attending St. John's University, where you and I actually, played for about 2 seasons together.
Mhm.
And that's the story of, really, of a young Kyle Cuff. Just always fighting and always had to play with his back against the wall because it's in New York. Growing up in New York, it was a million talented individuals. And back
Right.
when we were coming up, there was a lot of big, tall guys like myself. I'm 6'9", so being able to navigate through that and be able to get a scholarship to go to a college, which again is in the 1 percentile. You know what I mean? To be able to play basketball on a high school level, play in the AAU level, and get an actual scholarship to some of the best programs in college. Is a big thing, especially for minorities. So um,
That's a
those are
fact.
the things young Kyle Cove had to navigate his way through.
So talking about the navigation, man, when did basketball come into play, man, and what was the family dynamic around that?
Yeah, so we in my household, I got 5 brothers, what I'm
Okay.
saying, and 2 sisters. So like the family, and we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. So at any given time, it was a lot of things that we had to kind of go through, to be able to make some things happen. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
um I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest boy. I have a little sister, but I'm the youngest boy.
Wow.
And by the time I came in, everybody else is like a lot older than me, about 10, 8, 9 years. I think one of my brothers is like probably 3 years older than me,
Hmm.
but everybody else is like 8+ years older than me, other than that. But
Wow.
so my parents worked all the time. My mom was in finance. My dad actually was an army guy, so he used to be in the army.
Okay.
Um, so anytime that we was able to spend together, we spent together. We did a lot of things together. But me being the youngest, I, you know, you actually become a little bit more spoiler, because you're the last. Like how I don't know if you're the youngest on your side, but I know by that time mom and dad has calmed down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's just work. So now they're really focusing on the younger one, right?
Right.
So even though my mom worked a lot, I started getting into basketball like around 11, 12. So I'm actually was a late that would be considered today OD late.
That's OD
You know what I
late
mean? Because now
now.
you got the kids, right. You know what I'm saying? But now you got the kids starting at like first, second grade. They in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Probably even younger than that. So I didn't really pick up a ball until like 11, 12. And I always had pretty good coordination. but I mean, I wasn't good. I mean, I could, was athletic, but not really skilled. You know what I mean? But one day this gentleman came to like my building, because in my building we have like a whole bunch of basketball courts. We got activity, like a good nice little park that we actually don't have to leave our area. You know what I mean? So he was dating a lady in the building, and I'm like 11 this time, but at 11 I was already like 6'2", 6'3". You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Yo, who's that kid?" Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was like, "Yo, who's that kid?" And the lady was like, "Oh, that's Kyle. He lives on my floor." But he wanted me to play on his older team, because back then there was super biddies, midgets. Then you had your top teams or whatever.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to play with his midget teams, which was like 14, 15-year-olds. And when she told him, so, "Oh nah, he only 11," he was like, "What?" Like he went crazy. He was like, "Oh nah, bring him down to the church." So I ended up going to Riverside Church. You know what I'm saying?
So now you got
And
Riverside
from
Church.
then on, it was,
It was on the
yo,
block.
I'm on Riverside Church, like literally like the way how it happened. Wait, hold on, you hear me now?
I can. Go ahead. You good?
You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So literally it happened like within a span of like 3-4 days. Like I'm at the church and I get there and I'm like, "Yo, these dudes is nice." Like I'm like, "Yo, who is these dudes?" You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just going on the fly, like whatever. I'm just gonna go to the gym. Yo, I'm talking about. I see Lamar Odom. I see Elton Brad. I see Ron Artest. You know what I'm saying? I see Eric Barkley, but they're older. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they practicing. They actually practiced that day earlier before me. I see Kevin Morris. You know what I'm saying? Like I see all these dudes, and I'm like, "Yo, who are these dudes?" I didn't know who they were then, but
Yeah.
remembering me going that first day, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these dudes were in the gym. And I'm
Ah,
like,
what is going
"Damn,
on?
they nice." And I see, right, what's going on? And I see a dude, like I said, Lamar Odom was like my height. He big, but he bringing the ball up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, damn, I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I know, like, but again, I get in there. I was able to have, coaches like Durham Player, um, what's his name, Mike Chapman. Like those guys, Coach Mike Durham, Mike and Coach Durham Player. Those guys were able to like take time and really sit there and train me. You know what I mean? So it allowed me to kind of like work at my own pace. But not only that, seeing other kids and playing with better kids allowed me to grow as well. So it was more so not getting discouraged. And I had my times of being discouraged, but when you have them reinforcing and giving you positive criticism, and then you going out there and little by little you getting your confidence, because with anything as an athletic person, period, it's about you getting reps. You know what I'm saying? So the more times you get in, you start feeling comfortable. You're like, man, my body's able to move this way. You know what I'm saying? Like I shot it like this the last time and it went in. I'm gonna shoot it like that again. You know what I'm saying? So it after a while, it was like it came easy. And the one thing he made it real simple for me. He was like, "Yo, dude, just get everything that come off the glass. Like I don't care whatever side you on. I want you to get that first. Like every shot that misses, get it. Even if it goes in, be in that position to grab it coming out of the net." You know what I'm saying? So that kind of put me in a position to like, all right, I'm
I
gonna be
can,
a good rebounder. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can
Like
do
it's
that. I can do
and then
that.
once that came on, right, I could do that. And he made it real simple. So again, I knew that I was gonna play just by doing that.
That's beautiful.
Everything else that came from that was like icing. Like I could put it back. I get 2 points by putting it back. So I get 2 points and I get a rebound. Man, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
every
I'm
shot
winning
that you
on
miss,
that.
I'm
I
gonna get
can
two
do
points and I'm gonna get a rebound.
that. Facts.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it was, you know what I'm saying? And obviously you're getting praised for that. You
Mhm.
start feeling your confidence start feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit, you smiling, and then it's a ripple effect. You know what I mean? Like you just start getting better. You want to do more. And then uh, you
So
know,
tell
I
me
was lucky again.
tell me about your parents and the siblings when you started getting into basketball. Are y'all a sports family? You mentioned your dad is in the army and your mom.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
You're
No,
not.
we're not a sports family at all. Like my brother that's no, we're not. My brother that's 3 years older than me, he tried to play Riverside also, but he wasn't he was okay, but he wasn't as talented as those guys. Plus he was a lot shorter. Like I'm the tallest in my family. Like, the next tallest is probably like 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm the tallest. My little sister played a little bit. She's actually pretty okay. She went to Murray Bertram, which was a top girls program
I
in the
remember.
city. They won like the city and state, like damn near every year.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So she played a little bit. Then she went to Temple, but she didn't play at Temple, but she played a little bit. But so we wasn't really a big sports fan. Like my parents, our like savior was Patrick Ewing. He was like the only Jamaican dude.
He's
You know what I'm
making
saying? In the NBA. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like at one point in time, like, I was patenting my game off him. I used to throw the knee pads on. Just knees ain't hurting, but I'm throwing the knee pads on because I'm mimicking. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that was the goat in my household. It was no Mike.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So you know, so it was that's pretty much what it was. But my mom, I could sit there and say like she would get on a train, like she'll come from work, and if I got to get to practice or whatever, we either jumping in the cab or she getting back on that train with me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, and she trooped me until my dad. Cause my dad came on a little bit later. Like he was like, he sucked his teeth a couple of times. He was like, man, I gotta take this dude where. But then once he got in, he started seeing the other kids. He started getting excited, like, oh, these kids are actually good. And it was giving him another way to also get out the house,
Mhm.
right? And another way to kind of bond and build with me. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Because that was another thing. He was more calmed down now. He's home now. So we be able to build and bond over that by going to all the tournaments throughout the city and state.
You kind of created another lane for the
Say that
family.
again?
I say you kind of created another lane for the family with this
Absolutely.
thing. How did this make you feel, man? And what was
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So
the environment growing up in the Bronx with your peers? How was that, man?
there was two different environments, right? So you have the environment inside of where I grew up. I grew up in a building called Tracy Towers, right? It's in the Bronx, right across the street from another high school that was pretty okay in sports, also Clinton High School, right? Inside the Tracy Tower bubble, it was beautiful, right? Because back then, um, we had like a doorman, like you know what I'm saying? Like we had no, it was places that a lot of lawyers and doctors would live because we had Montefiore Hospital, which was right at the block. So you see a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers. You know, I would say affluent, even though my family necessarily wasn't affluent.
Yeah.
But my mom was a banker. She was a financial banker, but I wouldn't put us on that top tier. But so in that bubble, it was all love. We didn't have to leave to go anywhere. Like we could stay on the premises. You know what I'm saying? We can get groceries, all types of stuff, right? But then once you leave out of there and you walk a couple of blocks, it gets different. You know what I'm saying? So obviously we have friends that was inside the building, but you also go to school and you have friends that are coming from all different areas. So I mean, it was just also about navigating. And as a kid, you don't really judge your friends based on where they're from. You know what I mean? It's like, you sit down there, I like pizza, you like pizza, yo, you my dog. Like, yo, we boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you bond over stuff. Like, oh, you like to play football, Nerf football? Yo, I like to play Nerf football too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you go out there and you hoop. So as far as, gelling with your peers and all of that, that's never was really a issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was also just introducing them. Like, they would introduce me to their friends. I'm introducing them to my friends. And before you know it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
When did you
everything worked out. So
when did you notice the difference between that building and then the surrounding area? What would you say the age was? Because you're right, as a youngin, you just doing your thing.
I was, no, I noticed it about 10, 11.
See, like
Like I
some
noticed about 10, 11. You know what I mean? Like you could literally see, yeah, something different. You know what
wow.
I'm saying? Like you see you yeah, you see kids getting into a lot of trouble more, you know what I'm saying? Especially as you moving up in grades. You
Mhm.
see the mentality shift, you know what I'm saying? A little differently where they were a little bit more joyous and smiling and happy. And the next like literally within a month or two, their face they come cold. They turn like they it's just a little they're a little stoner, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean you start picking up on stuff like that, but the one thing I can sit there and say that I was fortunate and lucky. I tell my kids that all that, especially my son who's into basketball now. I told him like, luckily for me, I had parents that cared enough to make sure that I was doing what I needed to do, even if I didn't want to hear what they wanted to say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they made sure that, hey, oh, you got practice at this time, oh, you better get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're not handling your business in school. Oh, nah, you can't play that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm taking everything out your room. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had parents that kind of like seriously, like held me accountable. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing I can sit there that separated. And then again, I was like I said, I was so tall at that age, which was another thing that gave me an advantage, because you can't teach height. That's what they always say. You know what I mean? Like, and that also motivated me. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm big. I can do this. Oh, this person's doing it. They can get to go to school for free, and that stuff like that worked out. Yep.
That's dope. So you playing for a powerhouse. For those who do not know, Riverside Church is a national powerhouse with basketball. So he walked right
Right.
in a powerhouse situation, real green. So he had to learn on the fly, and it's something that he's figuring
Yeah.
out. There's one skill of
Right.
rebounding, and I'm gonna build on that. And you got a couple of people pouring into you on that aspect. So what did it look like moving forward to you going into your high school years? How did we get to where you went to? How'd that come about, Rice High School, which is another
Well,
power.
I'm actually gonna take no, absolutely, but I'm gonna take you even before that, right? So before I even got to high school, again, within a month before when while I was playing Riverside, I got introduced to this middle school, Mount Carmel Holy Rosary, is on 119th and Pleasant in Harlem.
Okay.
I didn't know that was literally the Rice High School of middle school. Again, it had no gym. Like I thought it had a gym. I was sold. I didn't even see the school until the first day of me going. Like, you understand? Like the coach from Riverside was like, yo, this will be a good school for your son. Right. You know what I'm saying? I get there, like I said, it's like other top kids in the city, and we're all in class together. Mind you, it's like probably like 5 floors, and there's only like one grade. So it's only one first grade, one second grade, all the way up to eighth. There's only one of each grade. And I get there for seventh grade, and I got Andre Barrett in my class. You know what I'm saying? Which I kind of knew him before, but I didn't know he was going there either. So we all kind of showed up there on the first time. You know what I mean? And then the following year, I got Mike Boynton, who is now the coach at Oklahoma State. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so crazy to be playing with so much talent to people at that time. You didn't know really who they were, but now as I'm reflecting, I'm like, man, like I had an NBA dude in my class at seventh grade.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. I have a coach that's coaching one of the top programs in the country in Oklahoma State, and Mike Boynton. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in my class. Like, you know what I'm saying? And not to mention the countless other individuals that I played with and played against. You know what I mean? But again, Mount Carmel was a top program. We actually went undefeated 2 years in a row. We were 7th and 8th grade playing high school. No, seriously, we were 7th and 8th grade playing high school teams, JV team, because we were smoking middle school teams. You know what I'm saying? Like no, seriously, it was that deep. Like we were smoking middle schools. Like it was no comp for us to play in middle school. So the coach was like, man, we got to get you playing some freshman teams. Huh?
You had to play JV and high school teams just so y'all could get a level of competition.
JV and freshman teams. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we played Bishop Laughlin's JV team. You know what I'm saying? We played CK freshman team. Like we were playing teams, you know what I'm saying? To like, just so we get some comp, because we were actually so talented. You know what I'm saying? But again, we had Majestic Map was on our team. He's another All-American that went to St. Ray's and then went to UVA. You know what I mean? So like we had so many like talented people, Kevin Bell, Courtney Fields, that was also there, that we were smoking teams, you know what I mean? But so then after that, picking a high school, it was like, all right, man, where I'm gonna go? And at that time, it was, I don't want to play with scrubs. I want to play with the best. So where is the best? You know what I mean? And it was like, yo, Rice is, you know what I'm saying? And it was Rice. But when I got to Rice, it was a whole different animal, because I didn't get to play Vars my freshman year. You know what I mean? Like we had an opportunity to play. Like I had an opportunity to play, but Coach Hicks told me like, hey, like you'll make the team, but you're not going to play a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like you might get in, you might not get in. And at that school, it was loaded. You know what I'm saying? I had Ant Glover was there, and he was the Mr. Basketball in New York at that time. You know what I'm saying? And we had another 7-footer that was there. Like, Kenny Satterfield was there. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. Loaded. It was a different animal that was there than when I was coming from. Oh, right. right. And I'm saying a lot of people, they know Glover obviously, from playing at St. John's.
It was
Say again?
it's an all boys school, am I
You hear
correct?
me? It's an all boys school. But
So
a lot of people, you wouldn't know that because when we come out of school, when we come out of school, there's like a gang of females out there.
they
You know what
wait,
I'm
they
saying?
wait.
So they out there waiting for us to come out of school. They waiting for us to, yeah, they waiting for us to come out of school. So it looked like it could be a co-ed school, but now it's all boys school, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, picking that school, it was fun. I got to like, I'm actually an advocate of same-sex schools.
Why
Like,
is that?
like
Why
my
is that?
son started off going to a boarding school.
Why is that?
I just feel, especially for a male,
Yeah, not everybody has this experience, Kyle. So give us some free game on that because, again, man, most of the public are going to co-ed schools, whether it's
oh
private or
no, big facts. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you.
still good.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as going to a all boys school, right? Especially all boys Catholic school, right? Which Rice was, right? It allowed, I think, a lot of the young men that are there to just focus on whatever they're doing, sports, academics, right? I feel like a lot of times when you incorporate, the other sex in a school environment, men, like I feel like boys, we get discouraged sometimes as far as like getting an answer wrong because we don't want to look stupid to the young girl that's in the class. You see what I'm saying? But when you're around your boys, you'll blurt out an answer like it's such and such and such. And your boys might make a little joke like, yo, come on, stupid. But it's not the same way as you would feel as your boys say, yo, what's going on with you, stupid? And a girl is sitting right next to you that
That's
you've been eyeing for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a difference. So as far as the confident the confidence goal, I feel like it allowed a lot of my brothers that was there to kind of focus on getting their schoolwork together and then focusing on basketball. And obviously, when you step outside of school, because it's a day school, we're right in the middle of Harlem. There's girls everywhere.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it kind of gave you that couple of hours, that good amount of hours that you're in school to just focus on what you need to focus on. And when you're out there, you have your fun and it's whatever. And same thing I think for girls. Like my daughters go to all girl school, right? And it's sort of the same thing. Like at the same time, they're building their confidence as well, and they're gonna like who they like. But at the end of the day, you're focused on your goal is to get your education and whatever activities that you are and to be the best. And obviously when you step out, whatever comes your way when you step outside of it, it is what it is. But there should be a certain amount of time throughout the day where you're focused on what you need to focus on.
That's dope perspective,
You know what
bro.
I'm saying? So
I personally never thought about that because it's not a part of my world, and that's what this platform is. Because I think a lot of people have that same view. If it's not a part of my world, I'm not thinking about it as much. But we're all intertwined somehow.
right.
That's dope free game right there. So any parents that's looking to that, man, that's valuable information, man. But it makes sense too, to an extent. You're at an adolescence to where your mind is going a whole lot. That confidence is very important to build. If I could just lock in on what I need to lock in on, that's going to be super helpful for me now and moving forward. And we know at that time, we're looking at the ladies are looking at us, and that could be a huge distraction. If we see guys going,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And absolutely. And again, at that time, I didn't want to go to all boys school. Like I didn't really, really pay attention to Rice being an all boys school. I really was going to go to Bishop Lachlan, which was a co-ed school. But my mom shut it down. Like, you're not going there. And you're going all the way to Brooklyn? Nah, you good. You're gonna go to this, school right here. And I'm like, all right, so she kind of helped that decision also, like, nah, you're not going to a co-ed school. You know what I'm saying? So
good
and it worked out, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely an advocate for it. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely was probably one of the greatest decisions I could have made because again, I played with so many talented players that I witnessed a 13-man roster and all 13 got D1 scholarships. You know what I'm saying? Like that's big. You see what I'm saying? Like
unheard of.
our last player that is unheard of. Like our last player that barely got in the game went D1. You see what I'm saying? Like and I've seen that countless times while I was at school, and I'm sitting there like, but again, you're not really thinking about it until you get a little older. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting back like, dang.
That's
Even
crazy.
with Riverside, I'm watching being a part of a program like Riverside and see them get. We playing at all of the best tournaments, and I'm seeing these dudes getting scholarships. You know what
Name
I'm saying? To
name
the
some of the
school of their choice, not.
name some of the names that you've witnessed. You already named a couple from Riverside and Rice for people that are watching across the nation that don't know this area and the pool of talent that's in this area. Name a couple of names that have come before you, after you, and during your time.
Well, they'll definitely know. Before me, you had like another Rice great like Bevon Robin. You know what I'm saying? Like he went to end up going to Fordham University. He actually could have went to a lot a better program than he was at, but he decided to go to Fordham. Tyree Kersey, another one. He went to Iona. Diary Wilson. He went to Iona. Oh man, trying to think who else.
Felipe
Again,
Lopez.
Glover. I know he went to St. John's. I'm trying to think. Felipe Lopez is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Felipe
ended up going to St.
Lopez.
John's. Was probably part of the reason. No, seriously, part of the reason why I even know about St. John's. Also, you know what I mean? Like, he was there. He kind of paved the way. Man, like again, I told you, said Kenny Satterfield, Cincinnati. Um, Kevin Bell ended up going to American, and then Bowie stayed. Um, Courtney Fields went to Iona. You know what I mean? Andre Barrett, Seton Hall. Andre Sweet, Duke. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing my other boy Lexi Ferrer went to Coppin State. You know what I'm saying? Like Keedron Clark, nation's leading scorer, went to St. Peter's.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of dudes that went there, and was able to kind of like be in an environment, be amongst like-minded fellas that all had the same similar goals, and was able to position themselves to get a free education. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. I know we all have dreams and aspirations to go and play on the next level, which some was able to do. But at the end of the day, it's about getting that free degree.
Was
You know
there
what I mean? Like, and a lot of us did.
Did you feel pressure in an environment like that where everybody is above average? Like I have to make sure that I'm doing my part. I look to the
Oh,
left.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
This ain't ordinary. Like this is a factory of talent, and it's like, man,
No, no, no. It's not ordinary. It's a factory. And again, going through it, you don't know that it's a factory, right? You just know that this person is actually more skilled than me right now. But the way how we was, way how we was groomed and we was trained, it's like, nah, I don't care if other people might think this person is better than me. I'm going at this person. You know what I'm saying? So again, I always use this situation like Anthony Glover was Mr. Basketball in the state of New York, right? He was by far probably the best big in New York tri-state area, right? And I had the opportunity to play against him every day that I was at Rice, right? And yes, he was beating me. He was way stronger than me at that time. In high school, yeah, I'm 6'7", 6'8", but I was like 190. Glover's 6'5", 6'6", 230. You know what I'm saying? Right. Baby Bam Bam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 3% body fat. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude was strong, and I was able to I had to learn to beat him in other ways. Like I knew I couldn't muscle him. That's not gonna work. So that kind of allowed me to develop, all right, I'm gonna outrun him. I'm a I'm gonna learn to shoot a little bit differently. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can shoot, I can pick, I can pop. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it allowed me to get more creative with my skill set because I knew that I couldn't back Glover down. I couldn't do it because he's too strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had to find other ways. So again, going against guys like that, you don't. I didn't have time to get discouraged or really be like sulking. It was like my confidence was like, yo, I gotta get on this court. Like either we gonna like somebody's gonna sit down and it's not gonna be me. We're gonna play together. That's probably the best solution that is gonna be that we're gonna play together, but I'm not gonna sit down. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of like, it fueled us.
Yeah, for sure. So now you're in this environment. You're playing Riverside. You're playing Rice. You got this powerhouse on both sides. What's the thought process as what would you like to do with this basketball avenue? You know what I mean? Like it's this is part of your world now. Your family sees that it's a part of your world. What's the thought process for young Kyle Cuff inside of high school? What am I going to do with this basketball?
Yeah, to be honest with you, the thought process was like, man, I want to go to college, and I think my dream school at that time was like I wanted to go to North Carolina, right? So it was like, man, I want to go to North Carolina and I want to go or Wake Forest because Tim Duncan became my idol after that. You know what I'm saying too. So I'm like, man, I want to go to Wake Forest, man. So I'm thinking along the lines of I got to get to college. This is what it is. Like I can go to college for free, and then maybe if I do well, I can go pro. Things like that. So I mean, I feel like there's not one player I think that plays a sport and don't have the aspiration of playing it professionally.
That's a
You know what I
fact.
mean? So, and that was my mindset. And then I had other teammates that was their goal as well. So it pushes us, it forces us to kind of, get to your maximization. You know what I mean? Like every day is practice is competing at an all time high. The games we're competing at an all time high. Where the games actually is like easy. Like you know what I'm saying? Because we're battling each other in practice, and practices is crazy. So we get to the game, we're like, these dudes is not better than our 13th man on our team. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of mentality that we were going about every day. So and again, we have fun. You know what I mean? When you're winning too, that's another thing. When you're winning, everything tastes, looks, feel better. You know what I'm saying? But when you losing, that same steak that was tasting real great, man, with the mashed potatoes, start tasting stale when you're losing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I don't want this.
I don't
You
want
know
this.
what I'm saying? But we were winning, so you know what I'm saying? Like we happy, we smiling, we smiling. We ain't, but once you get punched in your mouth, man, you taste that blood start filling up in your mouth, man. You're like, ah man, you know what I'm saying? But again, we have fun, man. It was fun and I was fortunate to be on that ride.
Beautiful. So you and I both know, especially in New York, but really where there's money players,
Hmm.
there's money men. There's guys that are trying
Hmm.
to attach themselves to you. Did you see and feel that between AAU, even Rice High School? You don't have to name any names, but did you try to see the vibe that this basketball thing is a little bit bigger than just basketball?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So it's funny, right? Because like again, I told you I started playing with Riverside, but everybody knows that there's our rival, which is the New York Gauchos, right? So I remember the Gauchos, like a couple of the coaches came. They actually asked me my dad. They wanted to bring me over to the shows, right? So my dad was like, all right, we'll go over there and and see if like first of all, he's like, why you want to leave Riverside? And I was like, I don't necessarily want to leave Riverside, but I got friends over there too at Gauchos, so
Let me check it
if it's
out.
a better situation, then I'll see. Right, let's check it out. So we get over there, and it's funny. They start talking, and then one of the coaches go and was like, "All right, so what is it going to take for you to come over here?" And they offered my dad a real good amount of bread, like right in front of me, and I'm sitting there like,
Yo,
and I looked at my dad. No, no, but seriously though, but again, it was a good amount. Like
well,
it was
right
a
in
nice
front
it
of
was a
you,
nice
not
little
even
change, and you know what I'm
right
saying?
in front of you.
Nah, it was like right there. He was like, "Yo, I'm saying you come and we make sure you get unlimited this and da 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 da." And I'm sitting there like, and my dad was like, that turned my dad off.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that right there, it kind of taught me like character. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? Like without like looking back at it, so that back then I'm like, "Yo, take this money, man. We go get some stuff." Like you know what I'm saying? But by my dad saying nah, no, seriously, like you know what I'm saying. But by my dad saying no, it kind of taught me like nah, like first of all, we didn't need it because I didn't grow up poor. You know what I'm trying to say? So maybe it probably would have been different. Who knows? Like you know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, some people still would have taken it even if they didn't need it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But that showed me, and my dad told me that we're not for sale. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that want to throw money at you just to throw money at you is really something that you don't really want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of that kind of put something into my head, and I kind of go by that to even to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll try to figure out a way to do it myself.
Right. Wow. So you're seeing this right in front of you, man. So you're seeing this right inside the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That you know what I'm saying? Like this thing is bigger than basketball. So you got situations to where they're paying for players in order to stack their roster because from what I've seen, they
Right.
attach their name to whoever the next big thing is as well. Because if you do go to the pro level, then you know what I'm saying, I might get a cut of that because I'm attached. That fair to say?
Right. But not to cut you off though. I do not to cut you off. I do wanna also say like that also was similar things that was going on even at Riverside that I was playing a part of. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to just single out the Gauchos because again, I have love for the Gauchos. My son was a part of the Gauchos, coming up as a little kid. So that was something that was going on, I would say, in AAU, not
This
just in New York, but all over.
this is
Like people
this
want to attach themselves.
this is a nationwide thing.
Absolutely, a nationwide thing. So that's kind of like I wanted to make sure that I throw that out there because it happens everywhere. Like you hear the stories. We watching the stories now. We see what's going on in college. Like we were at college together, so we know certain things that you hear. Like you know what I'm saying? That we like. It goes on. It's a business.
It's a
You know what
business.
I'm saying? As much as they try to call it amateur, it's a business.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean?
And that's the free game for the up and coming youth as well as the parents. Just if you enter this world, there's a lot more moving parts than just dribbling and shooting. A whole lot more. So just make sure
Absolutely.
that y'all ask questions and y'all keep your head on the swivel, man, because it could get real. The waters can get real muddy. That's a fact. So we're playing at Rice.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're one of the top guys in the country, dude. You're one of the top guys in the country. You're playing at
Yeah.
different camps and everything. You're playing very, very well. What's the thought process on the recruitment, man? How does that go? And then you already kind of gave us a introduction to where you went.
Yo, the, it's funny though. The recruitment was crazy, right? Because you watch some of these programs, and you see how they come after kids, right? And again, I was one of the top players in the country, but I wasn't a top 10, top 15 player. Top 30,
Mhm.
top four, between top 40, top 30 in the country, right? But the love and that I was getting recruiting by all these colleges. I'm talking about like all the top programs in D1 that we're watching right now. Your Dukes, your Kansas, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting recruited by these schools, and I'm just like, man, like these are like schools that I'm watching on TV. Like I was able to go I was able myself and Andre Barrett was able to get taken to a game where North Carolina played Texas, right? Because Reggie Freeman that went to Rice, he's a Rice high school legend and one of the Texas all-time players there. They were playing against North Carolina. So his coach Lou D'Amato, who coached Felipe Lopez, also took us up there because he was again, we were lucky. He was our gym teacher by the time we got to Rice. So here's a top head coach that coached a bunch of top players is now the gym teacher. So while we're at gym and everybody else is running around, like myself, Andre Barrett, we're doing like skill work during gym. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, right? So he takes us up to the game and we're seeing Texas play in North Carolina. Mind you, North Carolina got Vince Carter, Anton Jameson, Ed Cota, Sheldon Williams, yo, like crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're seeing this as freshmen, bro, like the the next level of talent. You know what I'm saying? So when we're going now, we're getting recruited now. We like, yo, this is where I think this in my thought process, like this is where I'm trying to go. I want this type of environment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm looking at all these schools, and I mean, you narrow it down. You narrow down schools, and obviously, the deal. Like, it's about where you feel a little bit more comfortable at the time, and where you feel comfortable at the time don't necessarily mean that's probably is the best fit, but in your mind, you like, yo, I feel comfortable, so that's where I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And I think my experience again is a little different than my son's experience because my dad again is first generation coming off the boat, Jamaica, and he wasn't into sports like that, right? So he's not there to tell me this might be a good look. I don't know about this. This school has this more to offer than the other school. Stop only thinking about the basketball aspect. That's also important because that's what you want. That's what you're really getting your scholarship for. But again, how can you use the school's network to get you into playing professionally somewhere else or connect you with job opportunities, right? So that's the difference that I didn't have that experience. I was just going by, hey, this school over there, oh my coach, because again, Durham Player was my assistant coach at Rice.
Yeah.
He ended up going to St. John's. Glove was there. I kind of had like a relationship with those guys. So it's like, I'm just gonna stay home and win in New York. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been winning in New York already, so I could win again. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the mindset, right? I don't have to leave to be successful or to or to win. But nah, sometimes growth is important for you to grow and go somewhere else. And I'm gonna ask you a question: like, did you think you coming out of you know Amityville that you would be living in Texas?
Absolutely not. And this is part of the maturation of young
Right.
people, is
Right.
seeing
You see what I'm saying?
outside of your bubble. And then
Right.
it's also very helpful when you have people around you, even if it's one that have experienced that. Because you and I both know when you go through the recruitment process, you're getting bombarded, and you even more so than me. You're at a powerhouse. You're ranked much higher than I was at the time. So a lot of moving parts, man. This is an important decision. You know what I mean? It's a big time decision for you, and you only have one time to make it. And then if you don't make the right situation, then there's ripples effect to it. If you make the right decision, then there's ripple effects for that too in a positive way. But you got to navigate that because now you're an adult. So out of you went to St.
Right.
John. What were the few other schools that you picked? I mean, that were in the mix, and then we're going to talk about the St. John's days.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna give. I guess I'm gonna give you like my five. So I had UConn was in my last UConn, St. John's, Syracuse, Florida State. I had what was it? It was another big Syracuse. I said Syracuse. Syracuse was in the mix. Those what it actually came down to. Oh, and UVA.
UVA.
Those are actually the those are the schools. So I think I had two ACC schools at that time. UVA
Florida
and
State.
Florida State was my two AAC schools, and then the rest was I pretty much was like the Big East. It was UConn. I mean St. John's, Syracuse.
So
Then Pitt,
you at
Georgetown. It was like those
uh,
was what it came down to at the end.
you at St. John's now, dude. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said you at St.
Yeah,
John's now. They coming off of the elite
yeah,
eight run and everything like that. They play in Madison Square Garden.
right.
Super sexy. If you play very well there, you got celebrities coming. There's Jay-Z there and DJ. Like, this is a big deal. This is a big
Oh
deal.
man,
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a big deal. This celebrity status at a really early age. And if you play well, man, it could springboard into something else, man. So what was the experience like going into that? You know what I'm saying? Was it the feeling that you was looking for off top?
so oh man, bro, like freshman year, like the record don't show what it really was because I felt like the games that we did lose. I think we finished like 15 and 17 or 15 and 15. I think that year, right? But we beat a lot of good teams, and we started three freshmen, a sophomore, and a senior. So it was Omar Cook, Willie Shaw, myself, Anthony Glover, and Reggie Jesse, right? So again, we started three freshmen, a sophomore, and a senior, right? And I'm talking about first game of the season, we opened up against Kentucky, Coaches versus Cancer, Square Garden, sold out,
So,
crazy, right? And I'm sitting there like, And mind you, I played in the Garden before because they have like little high school tournaments, Super Six that was going on, and so you play a little in the Garden. But I'm talking about it was never sold out the way how it was sold out for this game, right? And we beat Kentucky. They had an NBA player, Tayshaun Prince. You know what I'm saying? They had who else I'm talking about that was on Kentucky? That Saul Smith, the coach's son, because Tubby Smith was the coach. They had some key players there, right? So we beat them. Boom. Like good close game. The next day, we got to come back. We playing against Kansas. Roy Williams is the coach. They got NBA players. Drew Gooden, Kurt Heinrich. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick Collison.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like these are like my first two games, and we lose to them by like 6 points. Mind you, we started 3 freshmen, a sophomore, you know what I'm saying, and a senior. But we were talented. So we were so young.
Yeah.
So I just felt like if we had one more year together, like that group, the following year would have been good because that's when Marcus came. I think you came the following year too.
Yeah. And
right? You came the 01-02 season, right?
O decided to leave too.
Omar left.
Yep, that changed the
Right. See, but I say this all the time. Like if you keep a Omar Cook, right, you also bring in a Marcus Hatton, right? Because that's what we did. Marcus came the following year, and yourself. Think about it. Like you now have guards that can press, get up and down. You see what I'm trying to say? Like I know that you probably felt a little different, but I also always felt like you locked people up. Like I remember you pressuring 94 feet.
Yeah.
And dudes is getting rattled. You see what I'm trying to say? So I look at stuff like that, like, man, you got a pit bull like that on the ball. You got Marcus who had good hands. You know what I'm saying? Like Willie had good hands. I had good hands. Sharif Fordham had good hands. You know what I'm saying? Like that team would have been special. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
our style of play.
What with one more year together.
Our style of play should have been a bit more in your face. Do you agree?
Right.
Yeah, like
Because I talk with Marcus all the time, right? Like me and him speak all the time. And he said he's like, man, like I had to have the ball in my hand. He made like, that like you think about it, like he had to put up 20 something points a game. If we ain't put up 20 points a game, bro, we ain't have a chance. And those are facts. Like you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people that don't really play, they don't know that. Right? They think they'll think that he's just shooting the ball just to shoot the ball. And it's like, no, bro, that's our best scorer that we have right now that can get it on his own. He needs to shoot that ball. Like you know what I'm saying? But if you have an Omar Cook now,
it was a dynamic.
He don't have to shoot it.
Mm-hmm. So do you
think
it's
dynamic of a team, right? So if you and think
when we going into it, do you feel the utilization by Coach J with the personnel that we had was utilized best? And then how did you feel? How was your relationship with Coach Jarvis? I think this is important for players to know going in about when you go into a program coming from high school to college, man, you have to adjust.
So so that's a good question, right? So the utilization, right? We will start with that first. I feel like once Omar left, right, the utilization became a little bit differently, right? Because Omar was a personality that you knew that all you had to do was get into a spot and that ball is there, right? He gonna find you. You know what I mean? Like so. Then he was also able. He was so cerebral at an early age that he can identify a mismatch while he's on the court, right? So for instance, he knows that. All right, Kyle, you 6'8", you probably a better post player, right? Let me get you on the post, right? And you'll see if you actually look sometimes in our freshman year, and like myself and Glove will be on the same times. He knows that hey, Glove got a mismatch. I'm going to Glove side, right? He know that if I have a mismatch, he's gonna come to my side, right? The following year, I became more of a jump shooter, right? Even though I've always had a good touch, but we had to change changed the game because they started to put myself in more pick and pop situations. Why? Because I was one of the better shooters, even though I was a forward. I was one of the better shooters on the team. So you have myself, you have Donald Emmanuel, we are both 6'8", 6'9" players. We're shooting threes because we can shoot them. Like you see what I'm trying to say? Even though I've still felt like I was best if I can get a little closer to the basket, if I can get some more looks on the post, I felt like that would have put more pressure on teams because again, I get to the post, I can shoot free throws, like I can get people in more foul trouble. I felt like it took away from the aggressiveness that I had my first year in my second year, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So then you talk about the relationship, then we talk about the relationship with Coach J. Like I never had a bad relationship with Coach J, right? Like we might have had disagreements, but I always seen him as, at least in like growing up, I was always taught to respect your coach is pretty much like your parent. You know what I'm saying? When he's on the court, right? So I looked at him like a father figure. Even though I have my father, I grew up with my father, but while I'm under his care, I'm under his care now, right? I mean, I'm at school, like the itinerary. We have a plan or itinerary that we have to follow every single day. So he now became that authority figure on what it is. So whatever he said that we needed to do, it was like okay, I didn't have to. He didn't care if I agreed or how I felt about what he's telling me to do. Right? He's doing it based on what he feels is best for his program, right? Because again, that's something that I didn't pay attention to really. That it's a business. Remember, like so now, if now going through the process with my son, I have to let him know, like, dude, it's a business. Yes, he's the authority figure, but if we don't win, he gets fired.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So he's not coaching necessarily in the best interest for you, even though he cares about us because he did so many things, in my opinion, that I still do today, like going to Broadway plays. I wasn't going to Broadway plays prior to that, but I've took my wife to Broadway plays. My children has went to Broadway plays. Going to like fancy restaurants. I still go to Dante. Well, Dante is closed now, but I still go to like Tony's and Palms. You know what I'm saying? Like these are like high end restaurants that I probably wouldn't have went to if I wasn't exposed to it from Coach Jarvis. Because the one thing I can say is he is actually for his peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like he spoke about it all the time of making sure that we knew enough so that once we left school, like we knew that it only wasn't just basketball. Like it was the arts.
He
You know what I'm
did.
saying? It was entertainment. It was different things that we can.
He definitely did that, man.
He did, right? You know what I'm saying? But again,
broadened the horizon for us. You know what I'm saying? Majority young black guys. He definitely broadened the horizons outside.
Right.
So much love to him for that.
And he made it mandatory that we were facts. And he made it mandatory that we were groomed. Like we didn't step on the court and not look our best. We didn't go out to eat at a restaurant and coming in there in sweats and flip flops and do rags. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no, we're gonna go get you. We're gonna take you guys to Men's Warehouse. We're gonna get you tailored suits. We're gonna get you shoes. We're gonna get you ties. You guys are gonna look. You know what I'm saying? Like presentable when we're walking out there. Why? Because you're representing. He definitely did that. You see what I'm saying? And that's even stuff that I do today with my own family. Like we going out, we're looking presentable. Like again, my son would love to have those crazy hairstyles that are going out right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? With all the the braids and the dreads. Dude, no. You can have a fro, whatever you want. It's curly, all good, but it's gonna look neat. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's just certain things, right? Because any way you want to look at it, you could say that you don't care about what people say, but you actually do, right? Because you are judged based on how you look first, right? Like you won't even get to have a conversation sometimes if you don't look presentable. You could be the coolest person in the world, the smartest person, the most generous person, but if you look like you don't look presentable, nobody's trying to hear what you got to say. You see what I'm trying to say? Nobody wants to be around you. Nobody's gonna let you into the room to know about what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna tell you another funny story because I remember, and you probably remember the story. Remember, I had braids also. Remember, we used to go get the braids, and we used to kill the designers and stuff, right? And I remember one day I came to practice, and I had my joint out. I ain't had nobody to braid it. And he was like, yo, if that joint ain't, you can't have that fro. You ain't playing with that fro. If that joint is not braided, you're not playing tonight. Like you're not starting, you're not playing. Man, I went right to the barber. Yeah, go cut this down, son. You know what I'm saying? Like it was over. Like I had to, what you know what I'm saying? I wanted to play. Like it was like, okay, I gotta look groomed, I gotta look presentable. We're gonna be on ESPN tonight. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's it's those things that I feel like is important where at the end of the day you don't have to agree with your coach, but you have to respect them. And I think a lot of times when at least when I'm watching college sports, I don't see too many coaches that get that respect.
Why do you
And
think?
that was important again, like when my son was
Why do you think that is right now? Is it just because the climate is
two
different
things.
coming up?
No, I think the climate could be the same, right? Because some people would say, um, maybe because the parents are a lot younger, right? People can say stuff like that. They're having kids younger. No, it's the fact that parents don't respect the situation. You see what I'm saying? Like they want to control and dictate it, right? And then they're not teaching their kids to have respect, right? Because again, you have a choice also. See, and that's the thing that I always knew. Like you have a choice of where you want to play, where you're going to go, who you want to be around, right? You can't go. I can't come to your house, Tris. You know what I'm saying? And just walk into your fridge. You see
That's
what I'm saying? Like I can't, right? I'm gonna say, yo, Tris, or I'm gonna ask your wife, um, may I have something to drink, please?
mhm.
And then I'm gonna allow you to say, yo, Kyle, man, yo, we cool, man. Family, yo, go get yourself something to drink, man. Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Then
Right.
I'll attempt to go into the fridge. But now you got kids just coming, yo, this is what it is. Like, no, dude, it's it's respect. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the reason why I didn't really get into like serious coaching because like I coached like for like 2 seasons as an assistant coach on the AAU circuit, Under Armour circuit, right, with Gauchos, right? But it was something that I had a hard time dealing with because I'm big on respect.
Right.
And when I can't have no little kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
you
come
don't
out
put
of
the hands
pocket and
on
talk
the dude.
disrespectful, especially to me.
Right.
Yeah, seriously, especially to me that you trying to get to where I've been. Like you ain't there yet. Like even you on a high school level ain't surpassed my high school level.
Yeah.
You see
So
what I'm saying? So
listen to what I'm
you
giving.
can't teach me nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is, yeah, you got to give respect to get respect, right? I give respect, but my whole thing is if I'm showing you, look, this is what it takes, like this is the results, right? You see it, but when you have parents that are spoiled, because the parents are spoiled and they talk a lot of stuff, and then and then the kids hear it, so then the kids develop what they think is right. So then that's how they approach these coaches. And then secondly, these coaches are now they want to be friends more than they want to be mentors and and give love. They want to be buddies. Like you're not my buddy. Like people don't know. Like Coach Durham is a was a young coach. Like Coach Durham started coaching at like 18, 19 years old, right? Coach Durham is in the same age bracket as my oldest sister. My oldest sister is like 10, 11 years older than me, right? So coach when I'm on this on the circuit at 16, 17 years old, Coach Durham is like in his 20s. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like early, you know what I'm saying? Like in his 20s, he's still out and about, but I respected him. Hold on,
Hmm.
my bad. So
We good. We
I
good.
respected him as if he was. I respect him as if he was like my parent. You see what I'm trying to say?
How
Because
do we get that
that's
back?
what I was told. I respected my sister.
How do we get that back?
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop caring. Like I think a lot of parents are afraid to discipline their kids or hurt their kids. I feel like a lot of coaches they feel like they're not into developing kids. They want the ready-made kid now. So they'll tell the kids and want to be the kids' friends just so they can have that kid on their team. I'm not that. I've seen too many talented players to know that I don't want to go somewhere else because I'm not only teaching you because I want to win. I'm teaching you and I'm hoping that for life after this, like you'll be a better person in the world. You see what I'm saying? And I think, like, as a coach, you're gonna have everybody has something that they're looking to get out of it. Like that anybody tell you that they're doing coaching basketball or mentoring and they're saying, hey, it's selfless. I think the only selfless person is a parent, right? Because when you want the best for your kid, period, right? But when you coaching other kids, yeah, you want the best for them also, but you also want something else in return, right? Like some coaches coach AAU because they want a college job, right? So they want to do their best because they have goals and they have aspirations of what they want to do. It's not purely because I just want to stay here because I just love coaching little kids. If they saying that they sitting there and they love to coach little
Trying to level up.
right. If they're doing it just because they nobody coming after them. You see what I'm trying to say? Like it's it's the truth.
We're talking the truth
So
here.
you also got to look at that. Like, what are these? No, it is. So it's like everybody wants something else. It's even in a relationship, right? Like you have your wife, I have my wife. I'm pretty positive if your wife wasn't, or the same thing, you weren't giving your wife what she needed, and vice versa. I wasn't giving my wife what she needed, or she wasn't giving me what I needed. I'm pretty sure that's where the divorce rate would come in, right?
They start looking
Like
elsewhere. People
it's a relationship.
start looking elsewhere.
Exactly.
It's a two-way street, but yes, you're looking to get something out of it for sure, for sure.
But
So
that's what I'm saying. So you got to get something out of it. It's not selfless.
mhm,
I think the only way you're selfless is when you actually have your kid,
mhm,
right? Because I think and that's questionable sometimes,
for
but I
sure.
think majority of the self, like you'll jump into an ocean to go save your kid.
That's a fact. I would.
I don't know if I'm jumping in the ocean, and I'm just keeping it real. I don't know if I'm jumping into the ocean to save any kid.
That's a fact.
What I'm saying? Like, but again, I might get flack for it, but I'm honest, right? Because and that's how I look at coaches.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So when I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my own son or my daughter, anything, and we're talking about whether it's sports or anything, I'm telling them like, yo, look, this is what it is. Like at the end of the day, it's a relationship you're building. It's a business. You have to think of it as a business, right? And you can't let the other person get more out of it than you. It's either going to be 50-50 or it's going to be
that's a fact.
fucking, I don't know, 60-40.
And this is something I didn't know going
And
in.
you gotta have the 60.
This is something I didn't know going into college, and it hit you in the face. And there was a lot, like talent wise, I feel like I was ready for the Big East, but there was so much that I didn't grow up. Like I wasn't around all of this powerhouse stuff. Like you were, there was so much that was overwhelming to me that I was trying to figure out, along with stuff going on outside of that really interfered with me even being a really good player, man. Because you said it earlier, confidence is a big deal when you come to sports. And coming in and Omar leaves and
Absolutely.
having to come in and do all of these things, we was a different player. You know what I'm saying? Omar was a big, strong, floor general. I was kind of an athletic, jack of all trades kind of a guy. So
Right.
like you said, man,
Right.
like
Right.
you have to adapt, man. And I could have did a better job by that. But this is what I tell the youth. How I fumbled the bag, this is where you can improve upon, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
give it to them 1,000, man. That's very important because, like you said, man, once you step, it's a business, and it's now even more of a business in high school than it probably ever was before because the guys are getting a lot more attention at an earlier age nationwide, not just in their area, but nationwide. So if you have parents that are irresponsible with handling that, these kids are going to be really irresponsible with handling that, and they're not going to respect authority. And then these coaches don't want to lose that kid. So now they're buddy buddy. And now we got this grown, spoiled kid that don't know anything outside of that. And then they fumble.
Absolutely. 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 So again, like I say, like it's a big conversation again that I have again with my son because again I can relate more to what he's going through
Yup.
because I did it. You know what I'm saying? And now he's in a situation where he's gonna have to go through it. And the one thing that he knows at the end of the day, it's a business. So you either come correct or you don't come at all.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody, if you're a competitive player, you're not happy sitting on that bench.
Not at
You're not
all.
happy.
Not at
You know
all.
what I'm saying? Like school ain't fun. Like school ain't fun. You don't want to go to class.
Facts.
Like you might not want to go to class in the first place, right? But when you're not playing, you don't want to be in. You don't want to be nowhere near
A
a
human
dorm or a
being.
classroom.
You
Period.
don't want to see another human being, bro.
Right.
Just leave me
You don't want to
alone.
see nobody. Right. 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 Like the day, like the like practice seemed like it's 8 hours and it's only 2.5, 3. Like you know what I'm saying? Because you're just so unhappy and miserable. Like that's just what it is. You know what
So
I'm saying? I think we all went
how do we
through
finish
a
up at
time.
how do we finish up at St. John's, man? Tell me the whole feel and everything like that, and what was the next step for you? Because you're processing
So
the most.
yeah. So I know I again, I finished in the middle, I would say like towards the early part, middle of the season of my senior year. Jarvis, got released of his duties. So, you know, Coach Durham and Coach Clark took over to finish out the season, right? And we were struggling, man. Like we actually we wasn't struggling yet. We still was it was okay. Like it wasn't terrible, but it was bad, but it wasn't terrible or the worst. Then a couple of months after that he got released, we got into a situation where they kicked everybody off the team except for like myself, Showtime, Andre Stanley, and we would play. The rest was like walk-ons. I kid you not. You know what I'm saying? So we like lost like no lie like every game, bro. Like I think we didn't win one game after that, bro. So my senior year finished up real bad, and I was like real angry. You know what I'm saying? Real bitter because I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the way you go out as a senior. You know what I mean? But again, we talk about the networking part earlier, right? Which I kind of like when you picking a school, you want to not only pick a school. Yes, you want to play basketball, but your school should have that access to things for you on that professional level if that's basketball is what you like to do. And they should have that expertise in that network in the financial area or work after college. They should have a network into that too. I was in a situation where I felt I wasn't in that. I didn't have that. St. John's wasn't that environment for me. Now, granted, I had a great time while I was there as the student player. But as far as life after basketball, I felt like that's where I dropped the ball at with the networking part of it, right? So I had to like look for agents and like try to talk to like find people going like whatever I can do to get an agent. I was lucky to get an agent and like literally like after graduation, literally like probably like a couple of days after that, I was in Mexico. So I was able to go to Mexico for a little bit, play, then came back, got another job in Czech Republic, played a couple of seasons, like played a season out there, then I left there. I got like discouraged, took a break, you know what I'm saying, from playing. I started working at Citigroup, financial district, you know what I mean? So my mom worked at in the bank for years, so she was able to get me a job. So I was lucky to have that part. Did that for a couple, and I was like, man, I don't want to do this no more. Like right around the time the stock market crashed, it was like around '07, '08. I went to Venezuela. I was able to get myself back into somewhat condition. I
Yeah.
was in Venezuela for some time, did a little Italy, in Indonesia, and then I was like did the D League also with the Springfield Armor. That was the minority team for the Nets, the Knicks, and the Sixers.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be well. Like I was able to gonna be, especially when I was in the D, I was playing real well. But then by that time I was like 27.
Mhm.
You know that the age factor started kicking in, so
Yeah.
they're not really looking at, even though you could play, they're not looking at the older person unless you like a certified stud. By that time, I'm not as agile as I was. You know what I'm saying? I can still shoot it, but I'm not agile as I was, right? And then I really started to notice the politics of the G League, right? Because I had a guy that I was killing. I'm talking about the guy that was starting, even though he was like probably like a couple of years younger than me. But I'm talking about like I'm dogging him, like
Yeah.
practice, killing him. I even had games where they subbed me on to put me in, and literally I'm having like 20 points, 12 rebounds, and we playing against other pros in the G League. So I'm like doing my thing, and I'm like, okay, maybe I might have a shot, and there was actually some talks of me getting like doing summer league with the net. So I was like, okay, but then the politics was like, this guy, because he was on Golden State and they put him down there to get some work, like he has to play the more minutes. So it didn't matter if he was looking like crap, he was going to play. You see what I'm saying? So
The
that was
net,
the frustrating part about it.
yeah,
And
networking.
after that, it was, yeah,
Yeah.
right. You know what I'm saying? And again, I also look at it, there could have been two things folded, right? Because if I had more of a calmer demeanor and was a little bit more smarter, I could have played that situation a little bit different. I could have said, you know what, let me try to get my hand into like being an assistant GM or like to work for either the G League or the NBA. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like by
You
just,
could have parlayed that
sucking
to,
up my pride and
yeah, you could have parlayed
networking.
that exactly. And you have the
Right.
ability, you could have parlayed that into,
Right. You see what I'm saying? But I was so
you know,
right, right. But I didn't do that because again, pride,
mhm.
pride and when you're a competitor, you are a competitor, right? Like nobody better than you and like you know that nobody's better than you, it's a hard pill to swallow,
Yeah,
right? When somebody that you know is not better than you,
yeah.
right? But then there's another part to it, and that comes with like growth and maturity, right? Or having someone that was able to teach you that early on, so that when you get into a situation like that, you actually comfortable and prepared for it, right? I wasn't comfortable and prepared for that because I didn't have someone that I could look to and say, hey, they were in that situation before and they was able to turn water into wine. You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that, right? So again, I go back to my son again. I think that he's probably not going to listen to a lot of stuff that I say anyway, because that's the father son dynamic anyway, right? Like, or parent child dynamic anyway, right? You don't want to really hear what your parent have to say a lot of the time. But I think some of the things that I do say, it kind of does sink into him because at the end of the day, we have something called the internet. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of things that I discuss with him, and then I can show him. Like I can't sit there and say, "Yo, Cal, I was one of the top players in the country," and you go look it up on Google. It's going to show that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? Like,
That's a fact.
yo, my dad was pretty okay. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
It makes you more
Oh, you
valid.
did this? I have the plaques.
Yeah, it
At
makes you more valid. It makes you more credible when there's something attached to what you're saying.
right,
So
right. And again, it could work both ways too, right? It could be annoying also too because it's like, oh, brother, like you keep showing me this,
I
but it's
know.
like I'm showing you for a reason.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And not to mention, again, we have the same name, like he's my junior. So a lot of the times when they say my name, like you know what I'm saying, or his name, it's always like, hey, your dad used to such and such and such, and that can also be annoying. So part of his drive is also building his identity separate from mine. And it's funny because I was telling my wife one day, and I was joking. I was like, when I go Google my name, his pictures show up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's his turn right now. You see what I'm saying? And he doing his thing, and it's funny, but I like it. It's exciting for me. Like you know what I'm trying to say? Because I'm like, man, I get to kind of relive it a little bit through him.
yeah,
Like they say his name, they saying my name. You see
yeah.
what I'm trying to say? Like so it kind of gives me that feeling of going through it again. You know what I mean? But at least he's a little bit better informed. He's not going to be 100% informed because you learn, you hear what your parents have to say, but at the end of the day, you're gonna make your own choices, your own decisions. But at least he's informed. Like he knows what can happen on either side. Like he's seen me leaving him, going overseas, trying to continue this career, right? He also seen me try to navigate as well, through a marriage and making the family dynamics and sacrificing things for the greater. Like he's seen all these things that comes with the maturity and actually having a family and still trying to do certain things. So his decisions will be a lot should be a lot smarter than the decisions that I made.
I
You know what I'm
like
saying? Like his struggle shouldn't be my struggle.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, especially for the viewers. once we attach to like a sport, we feel like that's the only way. And that's not true. There's many
Right.
branches off of that tree. It's a
Hmm.
doing for you to do so many different things. And that's why we're having conversations, man. Like we neither one of us made the NBA, but we're doing
Absolutely.
a whole lot of things. And even being on this platform is going to be helping other people. That needs to be recognized at an earlier age. You know what I mean? So doing things like this and
Absolutely.
you know what I'm trying to say? Because do you feel like because you did not make the NBA, was there a point in your mind that you feel like you failed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, like that's the end goal for people that's playing it on a high level like that, right? Like when you see your friends, like I have many friends that are in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like these are kids that I was better than at one point in time, right? And they made it like where everybody would say, "Hey, yo, you're gonna be the one." I wasn't the one, and they were the one, right? So it's a level of, damn, I let myself down, but then I let my family down, right? Even though my family is like, man, you're not letting us down. Like you got your college degree and boom, 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 whatever. But the goals that you might have, man, I could take my mother out of this place, or I could do this for my parents, I could do this for my siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like like I can have like generational wealth versus just being comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like those are all things I feel like, yeah, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like and you
I'm
feel
saying,
it. Like you know what I'm saying? You I think about it absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, that's how
say
it takes a
again?
level of maturity to get on the other side of that, man. And this is why these conversations need to happen because a lot of us guys, especially in the black community, we hold this
Mhm.
in and we just soldier on. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you carrying this and it impacts your
Oh,
relationship.
it's true though, and I think a lot of them have mental health too.
Yeah, it impacts you, bro.
It's true. I feel, and there's a lot of things that I feel like it's not. I think a lot of times, again, it's not touched about. Like I went through like a depression part too. You know what I'm saying? Because you depressed when and that's not talked about with athletes, right? That especially when you're playing at a high level in high school and you go play a high level at college, and everything that you want, you was able to get. But as soon as you leave college, if you're not fortunate to go and play pro, you back to just being a regular person in the world, right? Where and I know we walk to the front of the lines for everything. We get to any club, any restaurant, we getting comped for meals. Like we ain't got to spend like you know what I'm saying. Like the when that stuff stops, you like it's a depression that sinks in, right? Because you like, man, uh, just a couple of weeks ago I was able to do this, and then instantly it's like it
How do you
stops.
switch lanes? Like
You know
how
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
switch lanes? Like that's the hardest thing is to merge into like now I'm part of the workforce. What do I do with this? You know what I'm saying? And there's no pause button. You can't hit the pause button in adulthood. You have to continue to find a way to soldier through. And this is where we could try to tell these kids, like even if you go, man, even if you go to the league, man, you have a great career, 10 years in your mid 30s, man, it's pretty much over. What's the next step? And most of them are not even going to see
Or it's
any.
over. It's over.
It's over. So there has to be a
But
transition.
that's why it's also I feel like no, it has to be a transition. But I also feel like you said it earlier, right? It starts earlier, right? So and it starts first and foremost. It starts with the parents, right?
Mhm.
Like again, I got lucky. I was fortunate, right? But one thing I can sit there and say is like I have a partner, my wife, that able to identify stuff a lot earlier on, right?
Yeah.
And so getting the kids into different activities, like my son, daughters, they play bunch of different activities, soccer, lacrosse, football, whatever, basketball, whatever have you, right? So they get to find something that they like, right? They also get to, daughters do ballet, singing, things like that. So they kind of get to find something that might spark their interest, right? Then when you go into your school, it's also an environment that you're putting your kids in school, right? Now, granted, everybody's not in a wealthy situation, right? That comes,
That's a fact.
that's part of life, right? I'm still not in a wealthy situation. I'm still not in a wealthy situation, but there are schools out there that, like, especially boarding schools, and I felt like that was also a good situation and my daughter is also in good independent schools also, which is different from going to public school, right? Because in New York, you know, even though you were more in the suburban area because you was out in Long Island, but in the city, the boroughs, the best schools are in certain areas, like and it's primarily downtown, midtown, Manhattan, right? Anything that's going more north, like Harlem to the Bronx, certain
Different,
parts of you know what I'm saying, Queens, like it's more
different,
like
different outreach.
the academic, yeah, yeah, you're right. The outreach and the academic parts is a little different, right? So I was fortunate, like I said, that we were able to get our son out of New York. So there was a lot of times people was like, "Man, why you sending him to a boarding school? Is he a bad kid?" And I'm like, "No, he's not a bad kid. It's the school system is not it's not good. Like it wasn't good even when I was a kid, but I was 6'9". So you could have sent me to kind of to anywhere and I was gonna get a look and get seen and be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I was 6'9". I was like, my son is 6'2".
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not to mention the people that he's networking with, it's a little bit different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like when I was going to Rice, I was networking with like-minded people, right? Like mother and father going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different. My son is in schools with family members are Fortune 500 companies, or they're running Fortune 500 companies. You know, like those are his friends.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not that if I have a choice to put my son in a situation where his friends could potentially one day actually look out for him if he's in a situation and he needs like a job, or maybe he's in a situation where he can help someone else. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because he's around people that are inspired to
Yeah.
do some other stuff. Yeah, they want to do basketball, but they're also inspired to do
Another lane.
something different.
Wow.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
awesome, bro, for you to
Right.
have that
So I
perspective.
think I think that's important.
That's awesome for you to have your perspective just from your experience, but even to pour into the kid, because you see, because of the lack of communication or even being able to have the lack of healing, the parent fumbles the bag inside of parenting and they don't even pour into the kid that way or help them and steer them in that direction. So that's dope that you're doing that, you and the missus that are doing that for your son, and he's successful. That we'll have a talk with that young man too. But man, let's put a bow on this. Let's wrap this up, man. You got an amazing
Yes,
story,
yes.
a very unique story. What would you say in a nutshell for these young athletes listening and the parents going into the basketball world, sports world in general, and life going into adulthood?
Two things, right? And it might contradict itself, right? Be involved, right? I think um there are parents that um that are not involved, right? To a certain, like, know who's around your kid, know what their intentions are, know that nobody is going to care about your kid more than you care about your kid, right? But I feel like once you know that, there's another part where let let the coach, right? Once you identify that the coach's intention, right? Because you can't be a coach and the coach out there is coaching, right? Like he or she has to have someone that they're focused on, like where they're working. It's kind of like when you're having a boss, right? Like I can't go and tell like my kid what to do at his job.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like you, it doesn't work like that because that boss might have a different system
right.
of how he runs his company. You see what I'm saying? And I think parents need to look at it like that. Like, all right, you're unless you're running your own company, you're running your own AAU team or whatever it is, somebody else is in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like if you like once you do your homework and you do your research, your due diligence, whatever it is to see that hey, this program is the best program for your kid, then you can still be informed, but also back off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let them do what they do and but always keep your eyes open.
I think that's beautiful, boss. Like what I hear from that is find that balance. And that's where a lot of people struggle in is finding the balance. You love them,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? You love them, you give them the time, effort, and energy and whatever you can do financially, but there is a time to fall back, you know what I mean? And kind of let somebody else stay in their lane. You stay in your lane, stay in their lane, but you also have to find the blending of the two. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And then even for the young athlete, it's the same thing, finding that happy balance, man. So that's where it is, man. So I really appreciate your time, dude. You got a very, very unique story. Very unique story. I think this is gonna be
I
good.
appreciate you, boss, man. It's great catching up, man.
Yeah, I look forward. We're gonna do some more building offline. I'm gonna hit you.
Definitely, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Same here, man. I celebrate your life, man.
No,
May
no doubt, man. I just want to say one more thing, man.
Mhm.
No, absolutely. I just want to say one more thing, man. I just want to let you know, man. I'm proud of you, man. Like, like I know we lost connect for a little bit, but I'm glad that we reconnected. I'm glad that you have a beautiful family, man, and you able to you running your own business, and I'm saying you're doing things, and just to see you smiling and just being happy, like I know you at peace. You know what I'm saying? And that's an important thing that a lot of people don't have. They're still struggling to find. It's just peace. You know what I'm saying? And just keep that, man. Keep working, man. And definitely we're gonna build, other things though. But anytime, man, you need me to, chop it up with, give some game or whatever, man, I'm definitely here to support. You know what I mean? So again, appreciate you. Congratulations with everything that you got accomplished, and looking forward, what I'm saying, doing some things with you in the future.
Likewise, boss, man. That I appreciate you saying that, and it's the same to you, man. It's
Yes, sir.
good sharing this energy, and hopefully we can continue to have this ring out, man, because it's important for us to build. And there's a lot of brokenness out there, even for the athletes, man, because of I feel like I failed. I had to transition. So let's go ahead and celebrate one another, man. Be proud of one another, build with one another, because you're not a failure, man. We're still here. You know what I'm saying? We in the middle of this pandemic and everything. We're still here.
Absolutely.
What can we do to edify and elevate one another, man? So just having this conversation and putting it out publicly is a start. Is a start, man. And where it goes from here, man, I'm ready for it. So like you said,
Absolutely.
I'm proud of you. You got a beautiful
Yes,
family, man.
sir.
You're raising your son right, man. You got a beautiful thing going on, man. And thank you for sharing it with the world, man. And however I can help, man, you let me know. I'm a fitness guy. If you need some tips and everything like that, I'm here.
Absolutely.
We're gonna keep building off this
Yeah.
energy, dude. All right, love you, boss, man. We're gonna talk.
Yes, sir, my guy. Much love, boss. I appreciate you. Take care, my guy.
I do.